Hello everyone, it's Kyle Snow, Certified Leather Care Technician representing Leatherings.com. Today we're diving into a crucial topic, how to stitch patches on a jacket. Before we jump into the how-to, let's talk about the types of jackets and patches you'll be working with. Different materials and styles will affect how you go about stitching. So let's break it down. 1. Denim jackets. Denim is probably the most common jacket for patches. It's sturdy, and the weave of the fabric makes it easy to sew through. Most patches will hold well on denim, whether you're using cotton or leather patches. Plus, the rugged look of a denim jacket complements patches perfectly. 2. Leather jackets. Leather is a bit more challenging. Stitching patches on leather can be tough because it's a thick, non-stretchy material. You'll want to make sure you're using the right tools, which we'll get into in a bit. Also, keep in mind that once you make a hole in leather, it's permanent, there's no going back. 3. Bomber jackets. Bomber jackets are a bit trickier depending on the material. If you're working with nylon or satin, stitching may require more precision to avoid fraying the fabric. 4. Patches. There are also different kinds of patches to consider. Some are iron-on, which may sound easier, but stitching ensures they stay on longer. Others are embroidered patches, chenille patches, think varsity jackets, or even leather patches. Make sure you choose a patch that suits both your jacket material and your style. Alright, now that we've covered the basics, let's get into the step-by-step process of stitching your patches. Tools you'll need. You can't start any projects without the right tools, right? So here's what you'll need to stitch your patches like a pro. Needle. A sharp, heavy-duty needle is best, especially for thicker materials like denim or leather. Make sure it's thin enough to go through the patch and jacket fabric, but strong enough to handle multiple layers. Thread. Match your thread to your jacket or patch color for a seamless look, or go bold with contrasting colors if you want the stitches to be part of the design. Opt for strong, durable thread like polyester or upholstery thread. Thimble. If you're working with tough fabrics like leather, a thimble will protect your fingers while pushing the needle through. Embroidery hoop. If you're stitching onto a soft material like cotton or nylon, an embroidery hoop will hold the fabric taut so you can stitch more easily. Fabric glue. Optional. Some people like to use fabric glue to hold the patch in place before stitching. This is totally optional, but can help if you're nervous about the patch shifting while you sew. Pins or safety pins. Use these to temporarily hold the patch in place before you start stitching. Scissors. For trimming the thread or cutting any loose fabric. Step-by-step process for stitching patches on a jacket. Step 1. Position your patch. The first thing you'll need to do is figure out where you want your patch to go. This is the fun part. Get creative. The back of a jacket is a popular choice for larger patches, while smaller patches look great on sleeves or over the chest pocket. Once you've decided on the placement, pin the patch in place with your safety pins or straight pins. If you're using fabric glue, apply a small amount to the back of the patch to temporarily hold it. Step 2. Thread the needle. Now thread your needle. Cut a piece of thread that's about 18 to 24 inches long. You don't want it too long, or it might tangle. Tie a knot at the end of the thread to secure it. Step 3. Start stitching. Alright, here's where the magic happens. Insert your needle from the inside of the jacket, pulling it up through the edge of the patch. Start at one corner and work your way around. You can use a simple running stitch, where you go up through the fabric and back down again. Or if you want a more secure stitch, try the whip stitch, which wraps the thread around the edge of the patch. If you're working with leather or a thick fabric, use your thimble to help push the needle through. And don't rush, take your time to make sure your stitches are even. Step 4. Securing the stitch. Once you've stitched all the way around the patch, tie off the thread on the inside of the jacket. Make sure the knot is secure so your patch won't come loose. Cut off any excess thread. Step 5. Finishing touches. Now that your patch is stitched on, check for any loose threads or uneven stitches. Trim any excess thread and make sure the patch lies flat on the jacket. If you're happy with how it looks, congrats, you've just stitched a patch onto your jacket. Stitching patches on leather jackets. Alright, for all my leather jacket fans out there, this one's for you. Stitching patches on leather jackets is a bit more involved, but totally doable. Leather is much tougher than denim, so you'll need to use special tools and techniques. First off, always use a leather needle. These needles are designed to cut through tough material without damaging the leather. You'll also want to use nylon or polyester thread because these materials are stronger and more durable. When stitching, be extra careful. Unlike other fabrics, leather doesn't heal, so once you make a hole, it's permanent. If you make a mistake, it's much harder to correct. Go slow and steady, and use a thimble to protect your fingers. One pro tip for leather: if you're worried about placing the patch perfectly, you can use double-sided tape or fabric glue to hold it in place before stitching. This will prevent it from moving while you sew, making the jobs much easier. Maintenance tips for your patch jacket. So, you've stitched on your patches, and your jacket looks amazing. But how do you keep it looking that way? First off, avoid throwing your patch jacket in the washing machine, especially if it's leather. Hand wash denim jackets in cold water or spot clean as necessary. For leather jackets, use a damp cloth to wipe them down and condition the leather to keep it soft. And if the stitches start to loosen over time, don't be afraid to reinforce them with a few extra stitches. Your jacket can last for years with a little TLC. Wrapping it up. And there you have it, a complete guide to stitching patches on a jacket. Whether you're working with denim, leather, or bomber jackets, you now have the tools and techniques to make it happen. Patches are such a fun way to customize your look, and with a little effort, you can create a jacket that's truly unique. Thanks for tuning in to Leatherings. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe for more fashion tips and DIY tutorials. I'd love to hear about your patched-up creations, so feel free to share them on social media and tag us. Until next time, happy stitching!